Okay, good evening YouTube and welcome to episode 6 of the FPL family vlog. My name is Lee, this is Sam and we are the FPL family. We are just coming off the back of game week 3. Mixed emotions, I would say, right? Because one of us had a very, very good FPL week, the other didn't. One of us had a pretty good Premier League weekend and the other one didn't. So we're not kind of sure how we're feeling right now. If you haven't guessed which way around that is, I'm a Liverpool fan, as most of you guys will know, so I'm very happy with the fact that we've beaten Arsenal 4-0.
I'm clearly not.
Yeah, up until the very last, it was 92nd minute, was it, or 93rd minute?
Quite happily until the 92nd minute, but hey.
92nd minute. He's only just arrived, isn't he, Wood, from
yeah,
from
go
Burnley.
away again.
Back to Leeds with you, mate. Back to Leeds with you. So that's the way round we are in the Premier League. When it comes to FPL, though,
I've had a good week.
It's a pretty different story. I think you're about double my points, aren't you? Something like that. We'll review our teams in a minute. It's going to be a very quick review for me. You'll probably want to spend most of the vlog talking about your team,
Should we just talk about that?
Let's just talk about your team. Yeah, definitely don't want to talk about mine. Okay, guys, so we're also in a position where we'll talk about the game week we've just seen, so we'll talk about game week 3. We're not going to do game week 4 because we've got kind of a couple of weeks international break, haven't we, before game week 4 kicks off on September the 9th, I think.
And there's a lot to go on with that, with transfer window closing.
There's loads going to happen between now and then. So what we'll do is we'll do another vlog, I guess, in the week leading up to game week 4. So this vlog is going to be mostly about what we've just seen in game week 3. We'll discuss our teams as well for a bit. We'll talk about who's on Sam's radar on the back of the last kind of 24, 48 hours. I think there's some good candidates to actually come off of the radar, but some good ones to go on as well, including a couple quite controversial ones that I'm really not sure about, but it's your radar. And we'll also talk about the possible movers and shakers in the transfer market. Who's coming into the Premier League potentially on transfer deadline day or before. And some of those guys that are moving from Premier League team to Premier League team. So, you know, Alexis Sanchez at Man City. Get your thoughts on that. So, as ever, leave your likes, leave your comments, subscribe to the videos. That'd be great. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at FPL Family on both of those. So, yeah, where should we start? Game week 3.
Let's start with Liverpool.
Let's start with Liverpool. Why not start with Liverpool? What a great result.
Let's get you in a good mood before we get to the rest of it.
Yeah. So obviously clearly I was watching intently, but you had Spurs on in your headphones, right?
Yeah. So I was having a complicated afternoon trying to watch Liverpool and listen to Spurs and deal with the kids. So you'll have a better insight into the Liverpool game than me, but it looked very exciting from where I was sitting.
I thought we played really well. So first thing to say is I thought Arsenal were really outsourced today. I mean, I saw the team sheet and there was no Lacazette, no Kolasinac. They brought Ramsey in. I think they played Welbeck up top or maybe wide with Sanchez through the middle. And I'm thinking that's a great opportunity for us to make a difference there.
From where they were last week.
Yeah. Well, Lacazette dropped. I mean, guys, what do you think? You guys that had Lacazette in your team, I mean, neither of us had Lacazette. No. So I'm quite happy about that. I had Kolasinac. And by the way, him not playing and not coming on was, you know, I got 7 off the bench for Sutner, which is probably the greatest thing to happen to me in FPL so far this season, which is not really saying anything. It was when Wenger held up the board and the players, not Wenger, but the fourth official was held up the board, and I think Giroud.
You actually get an audible cheer.
Yeah, who is it? Giroud and somebody else. I can't remember who's coming on. 2 strikers. Oh, Lacazette. So Lacazette and Giroud both came on, and that was their second and third time. I was like, yes, Sutner 7 points. That is what it's come to, FPL managers. That is what it's come to. I'm cheering on Sutner coming off my bench for 7 points. My highest scoring player of the game week is really, really bad. Anyway, let's talk. That's less about my team. So let's talk about the game. Yeah, it's similar to what we've been discussing in previous weeks, right? Where do you, which Liverpool player do you go for? I mean,
does it actually matter?
Or does it matter? I mean, right, they seem to be sharing out the points and everybody seems to be getting their fair share. I mean, Salah again today.
Yeah.
This guy looks, lightning fast.
Lethal.
Got 1 goal, I believe, and an assist for Sturridge's goal on the 4th. So, goal, assist. When he picks up that ball on halfway line, the confidence of the guy to just take it out of his feet and sprint through the goal and finish it like that. Fair play to the guy. He's really taken to playing in this Liverpool side really well. Firmino again. You guys that have got Firmino. I mean, you've got Firmino.
I've got Firmino. Yeah,
so
really
great shout.
Today.
Let's not talk about what my transfer was last week. So I actually missed out on the Firmino points by transferring in Hernandez from last week. So that really worked out well for me this week. So if you've got Firmino, as I suggested on the vlog last week, hold on to him. I really need to listen to my own advice. Yeah. At least one of us is doing well. These guys are tuning in
hilarious.
expecting, really good FPL, insight, and I think we're offering it. We're just not doing it, right?
The thing is, I do remember when you did it. You were annoyed when you made the transfer, and I remember saying to you, "Are you sure?" And you were like, "Well, I've done it now."
It was a silly, emotional transfer, wasn't it? On the back of game week 2, which was pretty dire for me as well. It was like, KDB gone, sitting way too deep, which actually I think seems to have.
Yeah, because I didn't do it in the end.
Yeah, well, listen, I mean, Eriksen didn't do much for me on the back, having got him in, but then KDB, I think people will be leaving him in their droves, but we'll come to that in a bit. So then, Chicharito in for Firmino. Oh, wow. I did it. And then, even the next day, having slept on it, I was like, that's just bonkers. We always play well against Arsenal. So if you've got Firmino, congrats, because that's a good haul from him. Mane as well, getting in on the point. So you're right. What do you think? Does it matter which one you have, as long as you got one?
I think as long as you have one, and all three of them can sit nicely on Sam's radar this week, because I honestly think...
Is there space on the radar?
Well, they'll sit there nice and small together. Okay. There they are. So I think you have to have one of them. I just think if you're going into game week 4 without any of the Liverpool attacking options, I don't think that's a good idea. I think
I'm going to temper that by looking at our fixtures. I should know these fixtures, but I'm going to have a look and see what...
You've got City next.
Of course, yeah,
and then it gets a bit easier again.
But having said that...
City aren't looking that great in terms of... They're winning games, but they're not winning them comprehensively. They're still conceding goals, and with the attacking force that you've got at Liverpool, I still see you scoring goals against Man City.
We tend to play well actually when we go to City, and playing against teams like City and like Arsenal today. Yeah. On that kind of teams that come to play football against us will play on counter attack. We'll do the high pressing. When we go, home to Burnley, that's when we struggle. Sorry, Burnley fans. When we go home to Burnley, home to Watford.
You're just insulting me again now.
That's no, yeah, I know. Sorry. It's home against the so-called lesser teams where we tend to struggle, but the Man Cities and the Arsenals we tend to do well. So
and I just think that actually
Burnley at home after the City game, by the way. So
brilliant,
can't win.
So I just think with Liverpool, with the attacking options at Liverpool, for me it feels a little bit like the attacking options in terms of Dele and Eriksen at Spurs. You just get on one and stick on them. Or if you've got the money to afford 2, then get on 2 and stick on them. I just don't think there's any point in chasing points around, but swapping them about.
And do you think Mane's worth a little bit more than Salah in terms of? Because I think he's 0.4,
so
maybe 0.5.
We'll get to this a bit later on. But Mane seems to be the one that's gaining in point value. He seems to be the one that's going up. People are getting him in, I think. Yeah. So in terms of if you're thinking about financial gain in your team, then Mane seems to be a better option than Salah at the moment. Doesn't mean that on the back of today's game that may change. Salah might go up as well.
I think people are looking at KDB and saying, right, I've got 10. So, maybe Mane's a bit more reassuringly expensive. I don't know, he's scoring goals. So people are saying, well, I've got 10.
Yeah.
If they just had 9, clearly I think they're going to go Salah, right? Yeah. But they've got the 10, so, sod it, I'll spend it 9.5 and get Mane.
And I think if you're keeping an eye on the markets, Mane makes sense, because if you look at him, you think, oh, he's going to go up, so I'll get him.
Yeah,
because
sure.
He's going to get me goals, he's going to get me points, and he's going to get me team value, which is important this part of the season. So, I don't really think it matters which Liverpool attacker you're on, as long as you're on them.
And then Firmino, I think he's 8.5, maybe 8.6 now. So actually, you're going to save yourself $1 million or maybe $500,000 versus getting Mane or Salah. And this guy, Firmino, I looked at the stats after the game. He's an absolute bonus points magnet. So his BPS every game. Today. And again, you guys that are new to the FPL game, BPS is it's for doing stuff in the game that's not necessarily assisting or scoring a goal. You do get BPS for those as well. But if you're winning challenges, if you're blocking things, if you're creating chances, you're crossing the ball, you'll get BPS for all of those. And those get totaled up at the end of the game, and you get either 1, 2, or 3 bonus points. Well, Firmino, more often than not, is getting the 3 bonus points, and I think he did again. He did today. Get it today, right?
Yeah, and while we're talking about bonus points, we might as well stick Moreno on my radar.
Moreno?
Yeah.
You're going to put Moreno on the radar? You know how much I hate Moreno. Well, did he get a bonus point?
He got a bonus point today.
He did actually play pretty well, actually.
And
he did play well.
And I think at 4.5. He is a cheap defensive option. He's obviously well liked by Klopp.
I can't be having this.
He's obviously well liked by Klopp. He got a bonus point today, kept a clean sheet.
So he did make a lot of tackles today. Yeah, he did look quite good, actually.
Second highest amount of tackles in the game week.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Second only to...
Ndidi at Leicester.
Okay, all right. So Ndidi, you'd kind of expect to be getting those sorts of stats and BPS in that position, but Moreno, a fullback. Okay, fair play to him. He did play well. He did play well.
I think Liverpool are really exciting this season, and they've got some real interesting fantasy assets, and if you're not on them, there's a chance you get left behind in terms of the market.
Moreno, all right. Moreno on the radar.
Here you go.
Not sure I can have that, to be honest, but all right, it's your radar.
It's just for you, that one.
At 4.5, guys, I mean, he's got to be a thought, hasn't he? I mean, 4.5.
Particularly if you've got people, and like I know a lot of people are getting Kieran Trippier, and we'll talk about the people who are coming in. But if we do make another signing, then if you're looking for a straight replacement for somebody like Trippier, it's same value and that kind of thing. So, but possibly.
Well, not even. I mean, you saved yourself $1 million, right, by going Trippier to Moreno. Yeah. So, hey, look, maybe there's some value there. Maybe my Moreno glasses have been on too long, and you guys should be thinking about this guy. 4.5, pretty attacking. Got some bonus points today.
And you know, I just think he's worth just keeping in your periphery as a cheap defensive option. Still
think he's a rotation risk, but all right, he's on the radar. Good. All right, so that's Liverpool covered. I think if you've not got Liverpool assets, think about getting on them. Certainly attacking wise, we look very good. Arsenal, on the other hand, I've got a couple of Arsenal assets that I'm now looking to ditch on my wild card. So I have played my wild card.
Me too.
I have hit the button. You've hit it too. The reason I hit it was that we're coming into an international break, so there's lots that's going to go on in the next couple of weeks. There's bound to be injuries. There's bound to be players coming back late from international duty. You're going to get all of the transfers coming in and out of the Premier League at the end of August, so I think which is next Thursday, when the transfer window closes. And my team is just, problem after problem. I've got the Aguero problem now because he doesn't seem to be, nailed on. We'll get points for sure because he's Aguero. But I can't have 11.5, not being nailed on. I want him nailed on and possible captain choice every week. I've got John Stones, not nailed on now, clearly, after the week we've just had. Come on for a one-pointer. Nightmare. Kolasinac, what's going on with him? Rested today. Ramsey, again, who, by the way, got hooked at half-time and 100% deserved it. He was terrible in that first half against Liverpool. He was awful. Arsenal fans, tell us what you think about Aaron Ramsey. I mean, Gary Neville was slating him on Sky. And I think had absolutely every right to, because Ramsey looked really, really bad that first half.
But was it just him? Because I just thought that Arsenal looked, they're just showing the highlights on the TV now, but they just looked in disarray against you. They didn't look like knowing what to do with themselves.
I honestly couldn't tell you. I mean, they didn't look great against Stoke, and Stoke got the better of them. They didn't look great against Leicester, clearly, and they kind of scraped past them in a bit of a thriller. They were well and truly beaten by us today. The guys, the pundits on Sky were going really in on some of the Arsenal players. Sanchez looking uninterested, laughing on the bench when he was subbed and stuff.
When he got subbed, he was just sat there like as if he didn't have a care in the world, as if it didn't really matter, did it? Yeah. And then you would. One thing I did while we were still watching once it finished, and they were talking to some of the Arsenal fans, weren't they, outside the ground, and they just sounded absolutely.
Yeah. So tell us what you think, Arsenal fans. I mean, certainly I'll be thinking about getting off of Ramsey. I'll be thinking about getting off of Kolasinac as well. In my wild card, I'll be, like I say, getting rid of Aguero and Stones probably. JWP, so Ward-Prowse in the middle. Looks like Lemina's come in and take his place. I want rid of him.
He dropped in value.
He dropped in value, so I dodged that bullet, thankfully, because I played my wild card yesterday. And then Stevens at the back, right? I mean, played, and you cannot question Southampton's defence right now. They're keeping clean sheets left, right, and centre. However, they've just brought Hoot in, and looks like one of the guys at the back is going to go. Could be Yoshida, could be Stevens. I don't want that rotation risk in my team, in my wildcard team. So, sure. Probably looking at Cedric Suarez.
Okay.
And then I look up top, and I think, well, Chicharito, was that a bit of an emotional thing last week?
I think you need a Liverpool player back, certainly.
I probably want Liverpool coverage at some stage, yeah. I mean, Carroll, is he the best 4.5 to have? Because by the time the transfer window shuts and we come back on the 9th of September, you'd like to think Loftus-Cheek could be back and around. So,
would you want Palace?
Would you want Palace? Yeah, I mean, look at their fixtures and look at the form. Yeah, you're quite right. So, long story short, guys, I'm wildcarding for all of those reasons. My team is in a complete mess. I've had two of the worst game weeks I've ever had in FPL. Started off really well. Game week 1 was good. 2 and 3, diabolical. I'm making emotional transfers. I want to reassure the viewers that this is not how I normally play FPL, but it's great that at least you're doing well. So let's talk about your team. How did you get on this week?
Okay, we want to talk about that now rather than keeping going through the games.
Oh, okay, no, you're right. Let's try and stick to schedule. We do this so often, don't we? We kind of just go off piece.
So we've done.
Let's not talk about Arsenal anymore. I think the Arsenal fans will have had enough of us talking about those.
Shall we? Let's move on and talk about the other big hitters then for the week. So Man United, winning again.
Look good again, right?
2-0.
Look slick. Yeah, looks slick.
Obviously, Lukaku owners not happy this week, missing a penalty.
Absolutely.
So that's not ideal. But Rashford coming off the bench to score again. Fellaini scoring again. Mickey getting another assist.
Mkhitaryan very consistent so far, right?
Constant.
Yeah, very consistent. I think he's really turned a corner, Mkhitaryan, versus last season. Really turned a corner. He seems to have really settled there.
So one of my changes, for those of you that saw us when we went live the other day, and I was still umming and ahhing as to what I was doing with my changes for last week. In the end, I decided to get rid of Charlie Daniels. Ouch.
Hey, it's the right decision.
It's still the right decision.
Everyone on Twitter was going, "Oh, Charlie Daniels on my bench. Oh, I got rid of him."
I think it's
the right thing.
And I swapped him for Phil Jones, who kept a clean sheet and got a bonus point. So
netted out. Okay.
Nets out.
Let's talk about that Charlie Daniels goal, though.
What a
strike! What a
But he does do them, doesn't he? Like, I mean,
he's never going to hit one like that
not
again, is he?
But he does pop up with goals, and that was why he was in my team from the beginning.
Because Bournemouth's first goal of the season, only goal of the season.
I was never expecting a goal like that from him.
Unbelievable.
Fantastic goal. But yeah, Man United just looking on fire this season.
Yeah, they look good. Mickey looks consistent. Pogba looks very consistent too. Was unlucky with a couple of long-range shots. I thought Pogba in the game.
And I was getting a lot of grief on Instagram this week for not having Lukaku.
Okay.
A lot of grief about it, and I was saying, well, we can talk about Spurs in a minute, but I just felt I had to stick with Kane, particularly going into a Burnley at home. So there was no way I was transferring out Kane this week to get Lukaku. And given that I wasn't going to play my wild card a day before the deadline for last week, I wasn't going to shop my whole team for it.
You can't be sitting here saying you're happy not having Lukaku.
I'm not.
With the swing of a boot the other direction, he gets 12 points and it's a totally different story.
I'm absolutely not. I'm not happy about not having Lukaku.
Mickey's covering it for you at the minute.
Mickey's covering me at the moment, and the position I'm in at the moment is I've got Mickey, I've got Jones, and I've got De Gea. So I haven't got space for Lukaku.
Is that a worry?
Yes, which is part of the reason I've played my wild card this week, because actually I've had a good game week, and we'll talk about my team later. But last night, JWP and De Bruyne were going down in price. And
has De Bruyne fallen now?
They both did last night. Okay. So De Bruyne is now 9.9 and JWP is 5.4 or whatever.
5.4, yeah.
So I played my wild card last night. But part of that process is to try and gain some monetary value in my team over the international break, more than it is to make transfers. And I think what I'm expecting on the back of this game week for Kane to drop in value, because I expect that people will start ditching him now. Well,
120,000 odd, I think, people got rid of him last game week on the back of a frustrating game against Chelsea, knowing that the next fixture was Burnley at home. Sure. So having blanked against Burnley at home, I can see a bit of an exodus there. I'm still... And I got asked this question on Twitter when I said, we're filming this tonight, any questions? And somebody said, look, what we're doing with Kane. Being on a wild card, I'm undecided. I'm going to obviously see what happens over the next couple of weeks.
You don't have him at all at the moment.
I haven't had him since the start of the season, but the plan was always to bring him in about now, because you've got Everton away next, but then after that your fixtures are sumptuous, right? We'll have got over the whole, stupid August thing, and that'll go by the by.
But I also... For a lot of players, playing away from home is seen as a negative, whereas for us at the moment, I feel like going away from home could actually be a positive for us, because it takes away that Wembley conversation. So it's just about playing a football match. So actually travelling up to Everton might not necessarily be a bad thing at the moment. So my current thinking is that in order to get Lukaku in, I'm going to have to get rid of Jones again. Was already making 2 changes because I wanted KDB and JWP out. So I had to really play my wild card in order to fiddle around with all these transfers. So yes, I'm definitely still Lukaku blank this week, but he's not going to blank every week, and I'm behind because of not having him. So I do.
And we're now sure. Well, I was going to say, and we're now sure he's on penalties. Having missed one,
is he still on penalties?
Could Jose go and give it to Pogba? Potentially, but
maybe.
I think you've got to back him. I think Lukaku.
But yeah, I mean, what I think is he's had a bad game week. He's missed a penalty. He'll come good again in the next game week. So there's no panic on him. But Mickey again, I just think Mickey is a fantastic fantasy asset. He's ticking over the points every week for me.
Looks very good.
And De Gea, so far he's been a great keeper choice.
Well, listen, there's no bad picks, I don't think, in United at the minute. Even Fellaini and Lingard got on the score sheet at the weekend. So United 10 goals, 0 conceded. Top of the league, 9 points. What's not to like? I think if you're Man United assets,
everything, aren't they?
Yeah, if you've got Man United assets, you definitely don't get rid of them right now. And if you haven't got any, then you've got to be thinking about getting probably Lukaku and one of either Mickey or Pogba. I definitely will have one of either Mickey or Pogba in my wildcard team in a couple of weeks. I'm thinking Mickey at the minute. We'll see. I might go Pogba just to be differential against you.
Okay. So other big hitters then. Man City. I was quite surprised by Man City.
Yeah, another tale of woe from my fantasy week. So I had John Stones and I had Aguero. So I was again looking for, as I was last game week, looking for something big from Aguero. I was kind of stuck by him. It seems reasonable, I think, to say now that Pep fancies Jesus over Aguero. And actually, speak to a few City fans on Twitter, and I've got a guy at work who's a City fan, a big City fan, and he's saying Aguero, not quite the same. He's lost a little bit of his first touch. He's lost a little bit of a spark of pace. Maybe Pep is looking at him and saying, it's time for the kind of Jedi to pass on to the Padawan, if you like. Maybe Jesus is the new kid on the block, and Pep kind of likes him. He seemed very reluctant to drop Jesus. I mean, Walker got sent off game week 2, and he binned off Jesus at half time, which was a bit unsuspected actually for a lot of fantasy managers. But then coming into the game at the weekend against Bournemouth, Aguero on the bench, and then Stones on the bench as well. So looks like Company and Otamendi are the ones that he's going to go for at the back. I really like the look of Mendy on the wing. I think Mendy looked fantastic. Every opportunity he could get, he was getting it in the box. And they had players like Jesus feeding off of that. So keep your eye on Mendy. In fact, it's your radar, so you tell me. But he might be one to stick on there.
Yeah, Mendy can certainly go on the Mendy.
So City,
Mendy on the radar.
Yeah. So City, very very difficult to predict. I mean, what are you thinking in your wild card then for a couple of weeks from now? Will you have a City asset, and who will it be?
I don't at the moment. So I ummed and ahed, as you were well aware, as to what to do about KDB this week.
As with most managers, I think, right? Yeah.
I think so. I don't think I was in a minority there.
No, definitely not.
And in the end, I watched the market all week, and I thought, he's sticking. So he was sticking at 10, and I thought, well, okay, if he's sticking at 10, going into a game against Bournemouth, I want a Man City player.
None of us were expecting Bournemouth to put up quite a fight, were they? And they did actually. I mean,
they fought really hard. Till the 97th minute, they fought hard. So I thought, right, that's my decision made then. He's held in value. I keep him for this game week, and then I make a decision on the back of Bournemouth. What happened is that he just blanked again, played very deep, he was assisting the assists, if you like. Again, he was always that pass away from being involved, and I just thought, you're 10 million and you've done nothing.
Yeah, we've said it before on these vlogs, right? Yeah. He is a class player, pulls all the strings. He is, superb player. And I thought in that game he actually, borderline man of the match the way that he was playing.
I agree.
But FPL asset, 10 million. Sanchez is more expensive. Hazard might be too actually. So he's in the top 3 or 4 most expensive midfielders in the game. Got to be delivering week in, week out when Ali, Eriksen, Salah, Mane, etc., all are.
Definitely.
He's got to be performing. And in that first half, it changed a bit second half. I think Pep changed it a bit second half. But in that first half, I noticed, whenever he got the ball, he'd pop it off, or he'd pop it forward, or he'd pop it wide, and then he'd hold his run. What KDB was, what you're used to seeing with KDB is he'll pop it in, and then he'll make that darting run into the box and get on the end of something. But he wasn't first half. He was popping it left and right and then holding. Yeah. In the second half, obviously they're chasing the game a little bit because they're going for the win clearly. He started popping it and then going, and popping it and then going. He was a bit more of a threat second half, but still.
But I just feel like for the money that he was that he costs me, I can have Mane, I can have Salah, I can have Eriksen, I can have Pogba, I can have all of these players who are game in, game out, constantly attacking. They're not constantly getting points, but they're constantly attacking the ball, and they are trying to be the assist. They're trying to be the goal scorer. And I just feel like KDB in the Man City team, in the way that it's playing at the moment, that's not his job. So while that's not his job, he has no place in my fantasy team.
All right.
So
Man City assets in your wildcard, any?
No. So last night I wildcarded. KDB went because he was going down in value last night. Good job I did. Currently have Mane to replace him.
Okay, interesting. You got Firmino as well, right?
I've got Firmino as well. And I did that because Mane's going up in value. So I thought, I'll lose some value on KDB, but I can gain Mane. I can gain it on
so
Mane.
You're playing the market,
so I'm playing the market.
So that's good.
Mane may not stay. He's certainly staying for the next few weeks because for the next until
after
just
he's
before
only
the
going
deadline.
one way, right?
Yeah,
going one way,
So that's where we are. So currently no Man City coverage at all, and I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah, I'm thinking Jesus. He's also.
You're going to swap.
Well, this is it. I don't know. I mean, clearly I'm not getting rid of Lukaku. I'm thinking about having Kane. I don't like my Hernandez pick, although the fixtures don't look too bad for him. A bit unlucky at the weekend. I thought there was one cleared off the line, and he could have had a goal or two. So a bit unlucky.
He could have, yeah, definitely.
But then I really like the look of Firmino. But then do you cover Liverpool in midfield? Lots and lots of questions to ask in the next couple of weeks, guys. So we'll do a couple of videos between now and then. I think.
So I think if we're talking about GW3, why don't we move on to Newcastle and West Ham? Cool. Newcastle fans getting off.
Good result, right?
Yeah. Good result for you. Obviously.
Expected or not, do you think? Because not exactly a great start to the season,
No,
Newcastle.
I must admit I was surprised. I, like you, I think, were expecting off the back of last week's results. I was expecting a little bit more from West Ham, particularly in terms of Chicharito and
West Ham look a bit in trouble, don't they?
They do. They just seem a bit up and down, don't they?
Bilic on potentially gone as well. Not gone, but rumour is he's looking to maybe do one, and then Rafa coming in from Newcastle, interestingly, to go and manage in West Ham. What do you make of that? Bilic gone? I think he's a dead man walking myself.
I don't know. I'm not sure what's happening at West Ham. They feel a bit like Arsenal at the moment. They're just a bit. I don't know. Just seems a bit crazy at these
clubs. It seemed odd to kind of back him over the summer and bring in Hart and Hernandez, and we sat here pre-season going, West Ham look as if they're making some good signings here.
Yeah, I thought so. I really did.
And then here we are. I don't think they've got a point yet, right? I think they're 3 defeats, not looking great. A bit unlucky to lose to Southampton last week, but. You can't go up to Newcastle and lose 3-0. I mean, that's just a bad result, isn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, Newcastle, with all due respect to Newcastle, I've got a Newcastle defender, as you know.
He came in for you, didn't he?
Well, he would have done if I hadn't left him on my bench. He got me 9 points on my bench. You'll see my bench later.
So you had 60 odd points and you had 9 on your bench?
I had 7, 1, 6 and 9 on my bench. I should have bench boosted this week.
I dream of a first team like that. Never mind a bench.
So I had Mbemba, who got 3 bonus points. He got 9 points this week.
So I think this is a good one to look out for, guys. One to put on the radar, if not already. I think 4.0 plays.
I talked last week about how Mbemba wasn't Newcastle's first choice defender, but with all the injuries they had in that Spurs game, he's now playing. Not only is he playing, he got 3 bonus points. He was really, really good, actually.
Need to have a look at that as to why, because obviously Moreno, we're talking about, second highest amount of tackles in the game. We wonder what Mbemba was doing.
It was high percentage of tackles, high blocks.
Okay.
He seemed
so he's reigning in the BPS somehow.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And then obviously another one for the radar is Joselu.
Joselu, yeah, however you want to say it, yeah. Got the opener, didn't he? I think
got
at
the
weekend,
opener, yeah. 15 touches in the final third. So looking decent, I thought, for Newcastle. But I was surprised.
So Joselu going on your radar?
He's going on the radar.
I think that's a good shout. I looked at the heat maps for him and for Atsu over the weekend because I like Atsu as well.
Yeah, you've said before, I think.
I do like him. Yeah, I'm not quite sure why yet. I just kind of like him. He gets into dangerous areas and he's quite a creative little player. He's quite diminutive as well, so he seems to kind of buzz around and be kind of pretty handy in the final third. Although looking at the heat maps, looking at Joselu's heat map, Joselu is in far more dangerous central areas. Atsu at the weekend was a little bit kind of out on the left or right. I can't think left, I think. So of the two, I think potentially you could look at Joselu. I don't know what their prices are actually. Could probably have a look at that in a sec. But I think Joselu, you're right to put him on the radar. 15 touches each in the final third for both him and Atsu. Newcastle fixtures coming up. Let's have a look at that. So,
and they're playing Swansea.
Swansea, Stoke, Brighton, Liverpool, Southampton. Yeah, so potentially a bit of a mixed bag. But, Newcastle fans, you tell us, what do you think? Is that the monkey off your back now? Is that Hosselu and Atsu and Mitrovic even? Mitrovic, who I didn't think, the guys, I don't think Rafa and the team up there fancied Mitrovic very much. But I think scored in the Carabao Cup at the weekend, during the week, I should say. And now he scored against West Ham as well. So, Newcastle fans, tell us, is Mitrovic about to make a bit of a comeback? And is he one that you might start to put some bets on?
Okay, so Atsu is 5.
Okay, midfielder, yeah,
midfielder,
sure. Yeah.
And then...
so he could be a good enabler, couldn't he? 5.0.
And... Sorry, should have looked this up before, didn't it? Hosley, or however you say it, he's 5.5.
5.5 midfielder, okay, so... You're potentially saving yourself a bit by going Atsu.
He's a forward in the game.
Oh, he's a forward. Okay, right, okay. I haven't taken that much notice of Newcastle assets up to now, just because they've got off to a poor start. But, 3-0 against West Ham, you can't ignore that. So a couple of Newcastle options there. West Ham, I think avoid at the minute.
Well, so last week we had Chicharito on the radar. I still think that Chicharito could be a good fantasy asset. But I think at the moment... West Ham seem to be just a little bit. I think we need to see where the ground lies with West Ham after the international break. Once the transfer window is closed and things start to settle down, we'll get a better understanding of what's happening at West Ham. Are they going to sack the manager? Are they going to keep the manager? And
people were bringing in Hernandez like me and bringing in Antonio on the back of, obviously they're a bit unlucky at Southampton and Chicharito got the 2 goals. But the fixtures are good. The fixtures are good. So, I think if you've... I'm looking at Hernandez thinking, was that an emotional pick? But, what are they next? They're Huddersfield at home, West Brom away, Tottenham home, Swansea home. I mean, what's that, 3 home games in 4, and then just away to West Brom, who are tough to beat, actually, at the minute. But 3 home games, I mean, there's got to be some goals in there for Chicharito. And you guys that are getting Antonio, I think that's not a bad pick either. He seems to be kind of picking up from where he left off last season. So, West Ham assets potentially hold.
I think so, yeah.
All right, so let's move on from that game.
Okay, so there's... all right, let's talk about Spurs.
Go on then.
Okay, Delhi. Let's start with the positive. Delhi Ali scored.
Good.
So Harry Kane. It's not August anymore.
A lot of people upset about Harry Kane today. A lot of people upset.
Do you know what really frustrated me? And actually listening to Pochettino a minute ago, Pochettino said, we need to focus more. We need to practice that in training. And I didn't see the game yet. I listened to it.
It was kind of words to the effects of, we've got to manage this game a bit better.
And today, it felt very much like until about 70 minutes, we'd managed the game fine. It was all us.
And when did Dele Alli score?
Oh, before that...
early second half.
Yeah, very early in the second half,
okay.
and it felt like it was going well. Then it felt like Harry's got a monkey on his back. Give him the ball at every opportunity.
Oh, so the Spurs players were looking to get him on the score sheet.
I haven't seen the game, so tell me if I'm wrong here, and I might be wrong because I'll watch it on Match of the Day later. But listening to the commentary, the commentators were saying it's all Kane. They're looking for Kane at every opportunity. And actually what was happening when Burnley scored was we were attacking. In the 92nd minute.
Take it to the corner flag, right?
When we are 1-0 up.
Yeah.
And we are trying to play in Harry Kane. Now, I understand. Believe me, nobody would love Harry Kane to score a goal more than me. Nobody.
And half the Twitter FPL community, by the way.
Yeah. But believe you and me, like, in no world, there's no way at 1-0 up you should be
just see
attacking, see the game out. And that's basically what Pochettino sounded like he was saying. He sounded really annoyed listening to him today in his very calm way that he has. But he was saying, we need to concentrate more. We need to think about what we're doing and we need to practice thinking about what we're doing. So I think they tactically got it wrong because they were focusing on him and not on what was going on. Kudos to Burnley though for sticking with it because they were under it the whole game, but they took the chance when that chance arose. Chris Wood stepped up and he took it.
So tell us what you think, Burnley fans. I mean, you look at the fixtures coming up. Crystal Palace at home. That's looking good given where Palace are right now. Then you go to Anfield, which is tricky. And then you're at home to Huddersfield, away at Everton, home to West Ham. So there's a bit of a mixed bag there for Burnley. But I think a favourite from a vlog a couple of weeks ago, didn't Brady get the assist for Wood's goal? So maybe Brady's an option. We had that on the vlog a couple of weeks ago. I've heard it on Twitter about Brady taking set pieces and being a bit of an assist machine.
There's definitely a lot of character in that Burnley team.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And I think, so that's all I've got to say on it really this week.
All right, let's move on from Spurs and Chelsea 2, Everton 0. Morata.
So Morata, he's on the radar.
I think that's right.
He scored a goal and an assist today. He is the first player in Premier League history to score a goal and an assist. I love a stat. To score a goal and an assist in his first 2 home games.
Nice. All right, good. Does that make him a good FPL asset then?
Goal and an assist in your home game? Yes. If he's going to score a goal and an assist in each home game, absolutely.
Well, I think Conte's learnt his lesson. I think having played Batshuayi against, who did they play second game week? Can't remember who they played.
Second game week.
Oh no, first game week, sorry. First game week they played. And he played Batshuayi. And I think we said it on the vlog at the time, the ball kept coming into Batshuayi, back to goal, no spinning and running in behind. Morata looks totally different to that. He looks a very, very good FPL asset. Be interesting to know whether he's on pens. I would guess that when Hazard is back, it'd be Hazard.
And Hazard is back in training now, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's imminently due back. I mean, he is going to change the dynamic of Chelsea massively, I think.
It will be really interesting because Hazard's been called up for international duty.
Okay, so see if he gets a game for Belgium.
To see if he plays.
But Morata, absolutely on the radar. I think he looks like a, people were thinking, he's not had a start in the first game. He's going to take his time to get into it. It looks as if he's actually, got into the swing of things quite quickly. So he's one to look out for. I didn't look too much at his stats from today, but clearly a goal and assist proves that he's had a pretty good game. So one to watch, Morata for sure. 10 million, so not cheap in FPL.
Yeah, but if you've got Lacazette.
That's a good shout. Is it Lacazette to Morata? Looks like a pretty nailed-on move, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. You're right. I like that. Okay.
I don't think there's much to say about Everton this week, really.
Well, I think it doesn't help when you've got to go away to wherever it was on...
Man City.
Yeah, but didn't they have a Europa League tie?
Oh, yes, they did, yeah.
I can't remember where they went, but they had a flight somewhere and they're going to fly back and then you've got to play Chelsea. I mean, that's a tough schedule and I think it probably just caught up with them a bit.
And we did say Everton looked good in a couple of games' time. I think it's game week 6.
Absolutely, yeah. So Everton fixtures definitely take a turn for the better. Spurs at home, United away in the next 2 game weeks, and then it's kind of Bournemouth and Burnley at home and Brighton
6.
away, right? So game week 6, guys, keep scouting the likes of Rooney, keep scouting the likes of Sigurdsson, even Klaassen and Calvert-Lewin, who I noticed was dropped to the bench today, which is interesting. It's a lot to ask of him to play that sort of schedule, right?
I agree.
Some of the younger players, I think maybe this week has just taken its toll on them. So that's one to look out for as they go through the season, being in the Europa League. So look out for that. But Everton, not such a great performance today. But keep scouting him. I think as of game week 6, there's some good options there. Yeah, for sure. All right, what's up next?
Okay, well I'm just going to skirt over Watford and Brighton, just because I want to talk about Knockout.
Yeah, Knockout for Brighton. Yeah.
So Knockout, I'm going to pop on my radar this week. I think he had 4 shots on target. He hit the woodwork, made 8 crosses, won 5 out of 7 aerial battles, and made 6 recoveries.
So actually, aren't you? I love it. It's brilliant. This.
Yeah. Actually, I think of all the Brighton assets, I had a Brighton defender on my bench. Of all the Brighton assets, I think he looked really promising. Now, it's his first game, I believe, this Premier League season for Brighton.
I think so, because he's coming back from injury.
And actually, watching them on Match of the Day last night, he made a big difference to them.
He kind of passed the... somebody used the phrase on Twitter the other day, passed the eye test, which is, regardless of stats, just watch the game, watch Match of the Day. He did look useful. He's lucky to have both his legs after that. I mean, give me one word to describe that Britos challenge.
Horrendous.
This is idiotic, wasn't it? I mean, what is Britos thinking? I got no idea. But
and it was the way he looked with utter shock at the red card.
It was worth 3 red cards, wasn't it? Yeah.
I mean, he's lucky he's not up for GBH. It was terrible.
It was bad. But Knockout, I agree with you. So you're going to put him on the radar?
So I don't want to talk any more about the Watford game other than to say, if you've got Richarlison, he is going to go up in value tonight. So I know he didn't come in this week, but I would stick with him. But Knockout, he's going on the radar.
Well, did you notice in that game as well that, as soon as Britos went off, Watford kind of went into their cage a little bit. They became a bit more cagey.
They definitely did.
And I think Richarlison became a bit less...
he was less aggressive.
Less of a risk taker, wasn't he? You know, if you've got 11 on the pitch, you can take a bit of a risk and run in behind every now and again. You've got 10, that becomes a bit more difficult. So
stick with Richarlison.
Yeah, keep an eye on Richarlison.
I still think he'll be a good asset for you if you did go off of my jammy pick last week. But Knockout, I think he's worth a watch now.
Okay, cool.
Other games to talk about quickly: West Brom and Stoke, 1-1. Rodriguez,
couple of options there potentially. J-Rod an option again?
J-Rod, yeah, pop him on the wild card. Pop him on the radar.
Maybe on the wild card.
Maybe on the wild card. I don't think so. But he did score a goal.
Your man Rondon got booked. At least he played, but he got booked today. He's not in the wild card, is he?
He's become my man.
Yeah, thankfully he wasn't in your game week 1 team. But anyway, so J-Rod, yeah, okay, good.
Got decent games coming up, J-Rod.
Yeah, I also want to give a quick shout out to Neom as well at the back for West Brom. So got the assist, I think, for J-Rod today. Looks to be marauding forward at most opportunities actually. I wrote down his value, I think 5.0. So a lot of people are not getting on him because they like the look of Hegazi. I also like the look of Hegazi. I mean, for sure, he's gone up 0.2, maybe even 0.3 by now. So if you're going to go West Brom defenders, there are lots of people getting on him. Had an absolute howler for Stoke's goal by Crouchy. So actually, Hegazi, great in the air going forward, maybe not so great at the back. But Neom, one to look out for, 5.0. If you're not going Hegazi, have a look at Neom. Hesse up front for Stoke, got hauled off after 60 minutes. Is he a bit of a one-game wonder, or what do you think? Quick word on him.
Can you call him a one-game wonder? So he'd only just arrived in the country last week.
Yeah, give him time.
I think he needs time to settle.
Give him time. He's a 6 mil midfielder playing up front, right? So he's got to be in or around the radar just for that.
He's one I'm really. I mean, we talked about it last night when I played my wild card. He's one I'm watching. Because I think he's got potential. I think he has got potential. Okay, so he can stay. He can stay on the radar.
Anything else to talk about in Stoke? Not thinking about Crouchy in a wild card?
No, I'm not thinking about Crouchy.
Sorry, Peter.
Although I do love his road.
Palace nil, Swansea 2. Tammy Abraham.
Okay,
on the score
so
sheet.
Tammy Abraham's going
Good
on the
option.
wild card, particularly without Siggy now.
You said it again. Is he going on your wild card or going on your radar?
Oh gosh, I'm sorry. He's going on my radar.
Could be wild card. Good option. I think he's a great option.
He is a good option, yeah. No, with no Siggy around, he's a really good option. Got 2 bonus points. Scored a goal.
Swansea fixtures looking good coming up. So Newcastle at home, Spurs away, so it's tricky.
Come to a gift shop.
Potentially tricky. Newcastle at home, Watford at home, and Huddersfield at home in the next 5. So Tammy Abraham, 23 goals for Bristol City last year in the Championship. Has he got the monkey off his back now by scoring? So if you've got Tammy Abraham, 100% you're holding him. Are you transferring him in? Maybe 5.5 I think he is. So. I'll check that. I think he's 5.5. So, an enabler for some of those bigger midfielders if you want them.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Have we missed any games? Oh, Huddersfield and Southampton. 0-0. Not much to say about that.
We've touched on the Southampton defence. I mean, you can't knock that. I mean, they are very, very good defensively, Southampton, but they're struggling for goals.
And actually, it proves how good they are defensively. Huddersfield had 16 shots in that game.
Okay.
Forster got 3 bonus points in that game.
Are you sticking on, if you've got a Mounier or a Moy, are you sticking with those guys?
So Mounier came very close twice during that game. Had 2 really good chances. I'm not sure at the moment. I think if I had Moy, I'd be sticking. I'm thinking about changing Mounier in my wild. I'm actually going to talk about my wild card now. In my wild card, I'm thinking about changing Mounier because Mounier, there isn't any he's not added any value in terms of team value. Okay. So he may go. It was a bit of a boring game.
Okay, not much to report there then.
Okay.
What else should we discuss? I think that's probably all the games, isn't it? Let's talk about our teams.
Just quickly, hang on, before we do that, let's just quickly round up the radar. So we've got Knockout, Hossily, Abraham, Rodriguez, Morata, Moreno. And we're leaving Hesse on there as well.
And the Liverpool attack in general.
And the whole of the Liverpool attack. So Mane, Salah, Firmino, anybody that's attacking at Liverpool.
Can I put one on there just as a It's
Which
not my
radar
radar.
is this?
It's, I know it's
Go
not-
on,
yeah.
you had one.
And I know Dele Alli scored today, so no clean sheet for Ben Mee at Burnley today. But he played very well.
He was
top
everywhere.
top for blocks and interceptions, so was very, very good on the BPS
He was
today.
fantastic
So,
today.
and according to what you listened to on the radio, was very good. So
He was.
I'm just going to check the Burnley fixtures before I suggest that. Palace at home, Liverpool away, Huddersfield at home. I think Ben Mee potentially is a decent route into the Burnley defence if that's the way you want to go.
And he certainly sounded really strong.
Okay,
today.
good. All right.
Okay, so let's start with your team then. Let's get.
Well,
that.
I think we've done it. So yeah, I'm wildcarding because I've got so many problems. I can't even think on my points. Let me just have a look. I think it's something like, I'm not even going to bother looking. It's about 31. It's really not very good. It's at about 25, but I think Sutton's coming on for a few more. So
They've updated now.
it's updated. Okay, yeah. So I'm on about 31. It's not great. Lots to sort out. That's about it. As much as I want to talk about. To be honest, how did you get on? Much better, right?
So I had a really good game week this week. So I've got 64. To be honest, it was only KDB and Carroll that did nothing for me. Everybody else either scored, kept a clean sheet, got an assist.
Good. Yeah, good.
So I've had a really strong week. And Mounier did nothing. My bench, as I said earlier, 7-1-6-9. It's like
Yeah. Good dead at bench boost, wasn't it?
yeah, but I mean, would you bench boost with we're talking Burnley and Newcastle players? Like
You bench boost
sorry,
towards
not
the end
Burnley,
when the
Brighton.
double game weeks are coming
Exactly.
out, right? Yeah.
So I am really pleased. I've gone up 40 places in the FPL league this week. So finally,
In our league, in FPL Family
yeah, in the
League.
FPL
Great.
Family
Okay,
League.
cool.
So I'm actually, you'll see me starting to make some progress now. I feel like my team, it didn't necessarily need a wild card, but it was going to cost me maybe 8 or 12 points to change things up.
Okay.
So I just felt like
Right.
it was a good option.
Right.
I'm really pleased this week.
Good.
Some good progress.
All right. Who's your top scoring player?
Firmino
Firmino, yeah. Okay.
with
11?
12,
okay.
and then Ali with 9.
Good stuff. And although, I mean, captain blank in terms of Kane, but then, Aguero blank, Lukaku, big fat 0, which times 2, last time I looked, is still 0. So captain fails across the board, I think.
Yeah,
so not many high scoring points in FPL in general, I don't think, for this game.
No, so if you look at the results overall, I think the highest score this game it was not 109, but the average is only 43. So actually, your 32 isn't that bad in terms of what's going on in the rest of the game. It just feels it on the back of what's been happening for you the last couple of weeks.
It's going to all change after the international break. It's going to all change.
Well, I agree with you because not just in terms of you, but in terms of I think there's a lot of changes coming this week because you've got international break, so you've got that injury risk coming when they're out away from their teams, but you've also got the closing of the transfer window, which is going to make a big difference.
Yeah.
Movers and shakers in terms of who's coming in, but who's going out.
And look out for those players, guys, that are coming on the back of a long flight home. In that the South Americans, they'll normally get back at kind of the late Wednesday or the Thursday before game week 4 starts. And often the Premier League managers will want to rotate those or give those guys a rest and play a squad player. So look out for that. All the kind of South Americans or the African players that you've got that have got long journeys after international break, look out for a bit of rotation game week 4.
So I just think it's worth considering and do watch Fantasy Football Fix. Watch the transfers in and out because there are going to be a lot of people playing their wildcards like we have this week. And so there'll be a lot of changes in terms of your team. People. So if you're thinking about making a change, just watch that because if your player drops in value, you might not be able to afford the player that you want. Yeah,
very good shout. Yeah, so you guys that are new to the vlog, get on Twitter and follow at Fantasy Footy Fix and get onto the Apple iTunes store and download their app. Very, very good app. We'll talk you through and we'll tell you when the players are looking to go up or down. You can put your email address and FPL login into the app and you can then filter by the players that are just in your squad so you can start to look at where your players are going up and down. So very, very good app and a very good companion for any FPL manager.
So should we just talk about our league?
So we got, who's kind of top scoring? Who's at the top?
So actually I think top of the league and our manager of the week this week with 77. Galactic United.
Galactic United. So how would you pronounce that name? Endara Ziggy. So Endara Ziggy, fair play. So let's have a look at his team. 77 points, very, very good. Forster, 11. Did Forster get bonus points this week?
Yeah, 3, that's what I was saying. In the Southampton game, yeah.
Firmino, 12. Salah, 11. Mane, 8. He's gone all in Liverpool attack. Pogba, captain, didn't quite work out for him, which is a bit of a shame. But other than that, 77 points, so fair play. Very, very good. Very, very good for this game week.
He was closely followed... Oh, it's moved. Closely followed by... Oh, gosh, it's all moved again. Right, there we go. Closely followed by Rebecca Holder, who's in second now with 75 points.
Superb.
So really
Excellent.
good, really
Excellent.
good
So
results
you guys
for
are...
today.
Yeah, the league is really taking shape now, so that's great. I think I can... Let me see.
Where are you?
Just see me at the bottom there. Excellent, good. I'm sort of waving from the bottom. All right, so let's wrap this up then. So we're not going to do a Game Week 4 preview. We're going to do another video before then because we've got too long to go. A couple of weeks. We'll probably do a Periscope as well, guys, in the last... maybe 40 to 45 minutes of the transfer window closing.
We're going to wear yellow.
So we're going to try and find some yellow. We'll get a little ticker across the... No, we won't go that far.
No.
But we'll probably do a live Periscope on transfer deadline day because there'll be loads going on that day, as well as in that last half an hour. There's always, you know, the odd... Jim White going crazy, helicopter
And also
going
now
on, right?
Harry Redknapp's, but I know he's not in the Premier League anymore, but he'll be up, you know, making some ridiculous signing. Which
in the window of his car like this.
Yeah. Hey, we need to have a chat about. You've been bringing in Messi, we were telling us all, but yeah. So we'll do a Periscope. I think that'll be quite fun on Thursday night.
Okay,
watch
cool.
What's going on, and then we'll do vlog number 6.
This is number 6.
Vlog number 7. In the build up to Game Week 4. So we'll wait for close of the deadline, transfer deadline, and we'll wait till the international fixtures are over and we know if there's been any injuries and that kind of thing, and then we'll come back to you with our views on Game Week 4.
All right, just to wrap it up, I'm going to rattle off some transfers that are potentially going to happen.
Is this like Lee's gossip window?
I just want you to say yes or no, they're going to happen, right? Okay, Sanchez to City.
No. No.
Okay. Van Dijk to Liverpool.
Yeah, I think that will happen.
Costa to Everton.
He's got to go somewhere, so yeah, maybe.
What an acquisition for Everton that would be, by the way, if they can tame him. Aurier to Spurs.
It depends.
It's done.
Well, it's done as long as he's allowed in the country. I don't want a player who can't come into England.
Well, yeah, but I think it's looking done. Oxlade-Chamberlain to Liverpool or Chelsea.
I think he wants to leave. I think he wants to leave Arsenal. Yes.
Okay, all right. Vardy to Everton.
No, Leicester. Goodness.
It's him or Costa, I think. I think Costa's more
likely.
likely.
I think they're more likely to get Costa than they are Vardy. Leicester aren't going to let Vardy go.
Yeah. Asensio to Arsenal.
No one wants to go to Arsenal, no.
Ooh, Arsenal fans, what do you think of that after today? Evans to Man City.
I think that is going to happen, yeah.
Looks on, doesn't it? Looks on. And lastly, Messi to Man City.
Oh, do you know what? I'd love to see Messi come play in the Premier League, but I'd rather he came down to Spurs.
Can you imagine the Barcelona fans letting Neymar and Messi go in the same window? And by the way, Dembele is a fantic player.
And he's not at Dortmund now, so we get a bit of an easier game.
Oh, Spurs' group in the Champions League looks a little bit. I was going to say easier. It's not an easy group, but with Dembele not at Dortmund,
it's a little bit better without Dembele.
It's easier than it was a couple of days ago. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for tuning in. So look out for us on Twitter, on Periscope, on Transfer Deadline Day. I think that'll be the next time you'll hear from us. Well done to anybody that got over,
32.
No, not 32. Everyone got over 32. If you're getting over, the average sort of 45, 50 points this game week, fair play. Keep following us on Twitter. We're at FPL Family, and on Instagram, we're at FPL Family. Keep your likes and your comments and your subscribes coming into the YouTube videos, and thank you for your support. Really, really, really appreciate it. So it's good night from me.
And it's good night from me.
See you soon. Cheers.
Have a lovely week.